First story. Wife multiple affairs. How did I found out? Short intro here about my D-Day situation. D-Day was a couple of months ago for me, April 20th, for stuff that happened between November 23rd to April 24th. It was my wife sexting and sending nude thoughts Snapchat to a close friend, with whom I found out during confrontation there was a history before me. I suspected, but she never told me until, let's call him AP number 1, who lives back in our old city, 5 hours away, and a random, who she found via Snapchat, AP number 2. We've been together 6 years and no history of infidelity before this, good sex life, etc. She said she did it to feel sexy and good about herself, since she's still carrying 20 to 25 pounds of baby weight. Our daughter is 4 now. I've always been enamored with her before and post-baby, but she felt like I always just said that because I love her. I'll spare further details for another time. Anyway, she purged her Snapchat account, blocked AP number 1, etc. immediately after D-Day 1. I discovered, however, that my wife trickle-truthed me during the original revelations. First about the random Snapchat guy, AP number 2, and the scope of the sexting over Snapchat, contributing to a D-Day to a month afterward. Though it was all about stuff that happened in the original period. There was also a warning text to AP number 1 the morning after when she blocked him, confirming the scope of what she told me about their sexting exchanges. Huge red flag. You could call this day 1.1, as I found that text a couple days after D-Day 1. These events I feel have greatly contributed to my paranoia during reconciliation. She caught me trying to get to her phone one night, a couple weeks post D-Day 2, as she was sleeping. I've done my best to monitor her phone activities since clandestinely, but she's pretty much always got it on her. The few times I've seen it, all looks clean. Before, during and since she's never denied me if I wanted to see her phone. And I know all her passwords, they never changed. She used this as an argument point during D-Day 2, that she doesn't change her phone PW, but we all know that it doesn't take a lot of effort to make sure your phone is scrubbed before you put it down. If you're aware someone will look through it at any time. I just can't help but shake the insecurity or quiet the doubts in my head. I find myself constantly wanting to deep dive her phone, or spiraling on the few things I can check, like her Google history, etc., even if it's innocuous stuff. I don't feel like she's trying to reconnect with either of the APs, but I can't quiet the feeling that the desire to get that extramarital attention validation is there, and it might cause her to seek flirtation attention again, but better hidden this time, including the time she caught me trying to get to her phone. The D-Day 1.1, D-Day 2 conversations. Throughout the reconciliation I've brought up my insecurities to her, and though she hates to relive the whole thing each time, she validates that I have every right to feel the way I do, and she'll continue working to prove her fidelity. Make it up to me for the rest of our days. How do you quiet the fear, uncertainty, doubt? It almost feels like part of me wants to catch her doing it again so I can tell myself I told you so. As much as I want to close this chapter and never have it relapse again, I believe her as much as I can. Blind trust is gone, sincerity about her guilt, desire to never jeopardize us ever again, etc. It's like the sniffer dog in my gut, which got me onto the trail in the first place ahead of D-Day, isn't satisfied yet. Any advice is appreciated. This channel is the best thing for me right now. I've tried the other sub, but it was very anti-R. R is definitely hard in its own right. I know our relationship and I know it's worth working for. I believe her reasons for doing what she did. Just blown away that she could justify it behind the back of the love of her life, you know. I keep reminding myself it's still very early, only a couple months in. The trickle truth was the worst part. I don't think I'll ever believe the line she claims on where the sexting stopped. But that is beside the point in the grand scheme of things. I read on the other sub something along the lines of, the blind trust is gone forever, but trust can be rebuilt. Blind trust isn't healthy anyway, with or without infidelity, and that forgiveness is a daily exercise, a willing choice. During our I think those two things give me clarity daily and I hold to them. It's normal to carry this emotional burden, the weight of distrust, and it will lighten over time. One choice I've made, which I know isn't helpful, is that I still have my screenshots of all of the evidence on my phone. Some days I spiral and go back to them, reread them and wallow briefly in that anger again, which I know isn't healthy. However, for now I feel like I need to hold on to them to keep myself sober through all of this. Maybe one day in the future I won't feel the need for them anymore, but for now I need to protect myself and the evidence does it. Any great suggestions? Thank you. Yes, it is often when minds are unoccupied that I go back to these insecure thoughts. Quality time together helps a lot. AP phone number, already memorized. It doesn't help that I know he is the kind of guy to know those phone number scrambling apps, etc. She is too, to some extent. Very adept at hiding stuff. I only found out because she had her guard down. If it was to happen again, it is fully raised now. I will try to walk the higher path and encourage the trust to grow. Thank you. Update. Feel angry with myself for reconciling? I'm about 3 months post D-Day 1, 2 months post D-Day 2, when I discovered that I had been trickle-truthed about things in D-Day 1. R is going well, all things considered, but sometimes, like today, I feel like reconciling is letting them get away with it, even though it's what I want. I feel angry, guilty, for reconciling, like they're getting away with the crime of the century. How do you get back your self-confidence, self-respect? How can I believe that I'm the one they want to be with again, genuinely? When things got tough in life, my WS was always my rock, our relationship the one thing I could count on. Now I feel like I invested too much in us and not enough in me, without us, and I'm caught emotionally flat-footed. And I'm angry with myself for that. And I feel like I'm angry, because why do I have to feel this way when they did the cheating? Anyway, nothing new under the sun. I know I'm not the first person to feel this way. Any advice or experience is welcomed. Update. WW regularly deleting her iMessage history and has 24H disappearing chats on WhatsApp during our I am 3 months post D-Day 1, and Trickle Truth has contributed to 2 more D-Days since then. My WW has been caught by me twice since D-Day 1 from things like screenshots and WhatsApp conversations in her phone with her best friends or the APs that I read which she didn't scrub since D-Day 1. None of these discoveries related to anything post D-Day 1. She's been loyal since then, as far as I know. It was all additional stuff that happened inside of the original affair period. Just new details and things she didn't tell me during D-Day 1. Since each D-Day, she has progressively cleaned up more and more stuff on her phone, like deleting more selfies that weren't for me and removing the D-Day 2 screenshot after D-Day 2, deleting iMessage and WhatsApp conversations more regularly, and has deleted all of her texts and non-disappearing conversations post D-Day 3. As I found the shit out via an old, not yet disappearing WhatsApp conversation with one of her best friends turned any of the above non-disappearing convos on WhatsApp into 24H disappearing ones. All of this contributes to my paranoia that there's more I haven't uncovered. I can't help but feel like I need to uncover everything that happened in that period, even if she's been loyal since. To me, the loyalty doesn't just mean intimacy emotionally, it's about honesty. Tell me everything that happened back then so I can move on. I can't move on not knowing if you're still hiding stuff. I hate this feeling. Her reasoning is that she doesn't want me to keep dwelling on it, nor does she want to look back on any of it herself, as it brings up those shameful feelings. She seems genuine about her and wants to move on. And every time I bring up old stuff she feels like she's going to lose me again. And she's stressed that I'm just searching for something that will break me and I'll finally leave her. I've told her in response repeatedly that she is making it sound like exactly that there is something I haven't found yet that will make me leave. and that's why she wants me to stop poking and prodding. I really just want to trust her and move forward, but I can't with things like disappearing messages and constant phone cleaning. I want to bring it up and be like, I need to see your phone constantly to believe you, but what kind of basis is that for mutual trust in her? How am I going to wean myself off of this, and how is she ever going to feel like I trust her or she has any privacy? Also, what's to stop her from just constantly scrubbing her phone? I uncovered D-Day 3 by cloning her WhatsApp to a burner iPhone. She got that stupid message that her account was being used on another device and demanded I remove it. I already had screenshots of what I wanted, so I did. Are these all massive red flags? What's reasonable during our? I want her to believe my sincerity in moving on, but I need her to understand these actions don't feel trustworthy. I feel like I'm stuck. I don't want to be that overbearing, insecure husband who watches and big brothers everything his wife does. What do I do? Looking for advice from Waywards and Betrayeds, please. Wow, crazy to think he was adding and removing the app like that. That's extreme intentionality. No, she has never read it since D-Day 1 for me. She closed her account even before D-Day 1, as I got close to discovering her with her Snap AP, and brought it up to her as, why do you even have Snap, it's for cheaters. D-Day 1 ended up being about sexting a different AP, but anyway, I digress. She closed down everything and hasn't re-upped since. Thank you. D-Day 3 was about a third guy at a club, one-off thing. Friend 1 had a video of them grinding, making out on the dance floor, which my WW then forwarded to a friend 2 to brag about. I was sick to my stomach. Apparently after that bravado wore off, friend 2 spoke to her at length about it and WW was extremely nervous and ashamed, and friend 2 told her to make it right with me. This was all in November, at the beginning of the affair period. I didn't even know about this guy until I found that WhatsApp conversation back from November. She didn't admit any of this to me on D-Day 1 or 2, only a few days ago, because I found out. Since I confronted her about it and got my screenshots, she's deleted that conversation with that friend and started it again. The friend who actually got the video of the event, that conversation is gone too. I have to take her word for it. I want to confront friend 1 about it. Thank you for this. After reading through these responses today, I brought it up with her and she disabled it immediately. She agrees she has nothing to hide and no reason to have it on. I asked about the deletions and phone scrubbing and she says she just wants us to start fresh. I made her relive in detail the night events that caused D-Day 3, and I'm satisfied she isn't hiding anything more that I didn't find. I think things will work out. Update. After reading through some of these responses, I knew I was on the right path to feel this way. I discussed the disappearing message timer and deletion of messages, photos, etc. with her post D-Days, and she agreed that there was no need for these actions anymore. She removed the disappearing message timer immediately. She said she deleted the old messages because she didn't want to relive that period again. This is what caused D-Day 3, and didn't want me to feel like I needed to keep going back through that period of messages over and over again to feel sane. I may never know if there was something undiscovered, but I believe her when she said it. She also walked me through more details from events covered in D-Day 3 and didn't shy away or evade from anything. I consider this chapter closed. Thank you everyone for your support. I look forward to making a flare change to successful R sometime in the future, whenever I feel that day has come. Appreciate your comment. My timeline and explanation might not have done the events justice. All of the conversations I found were back in the original affair period, before I found out. They advised her to come forward immediately at the time. She uses WhatsApp to communicate with pretty much all of her family and friends that are international, which there are a few. She's removed the disappearing message timer and has admitted that she has no reason to delete messages going forward. I'll be paying close attention to it over the next few months. I may even retake cloning her WhatsApp again, especially after that reaction she had. It will need to be another clandestine operation, and I'll need to intercept the new device on your account message properly this time. And as for TrueR, I agree. It resets after every D-Day, and it can't survive without conditions that garner trust. Disappearing messages was a deal breaker for me. After we cleared this up yesterday, I consider today day 2 of TrueR. I am hopeful for the future. Yes, you are correct. I think this is part of the problem. She's always had a flirty, sexy side to her personality and would make jokes with friends like, "Oh, does he have a brother?" about other guys while I'm standing there and things like that. None of it ever fazed me because we were both so secure in our relationship. We'd both laugh about it. We had the deepest love, best sex, super aligned, all of it. I actually like that side of her. It's part of what makes her who she is. There's a teasing playfulness about her personality. It's always been innocuous stuff or jokes. Now after this, those kinds of things may be difficult for us both to laugh about, laugh off. I've made it clear to her that I don't need her to become a nun or completely change her personality. It wasn't her personality that did this. It was some other ugly side of her insecurities and selfish, short-sighted dopamine chasing. But I will definitely think about what kind of borderline conversation she may or may not be hiding from me moving forward. I suspect I will still be checking her phone for several months to come, but I am hopeful that moving forward I won't have anything to worry about. Thank you again. Really appreciate you taking the time to come back and keep talking. Wow, you've got the nail on the head. Yes, that is 100% how she gets her validation, and essentially her excuse-only logical way of explaining why she sought the attention of other men in the first place. Validation. She basically said that my validation was taken for granted because I could only see her with loving eyes. Ha, the irony of what that accomplished. Can't say the same now. One of her friends recommended therapy as well, to help her get some self-confidence. External validation as being the only working validation is unhealthy long-term. Really appreciate your thoughtful and level-headed post. Yes, I think that she was rug sweeping because of her guilt shame. She more or less admitted that when I asked her about why she was deleting all of those conversations, some of the conversations were completely innocuous message histories with family or friends. Two of her closest friends that were close to D-Day 3 events also had their conversations deleted, however. I won't know if anything more was discussed with either of them. I did call one of those friends the day after D-Day 3, which was only a few days ago, and put her on the spot, cross-examining her about the events of D-Day 3 without warning. It lined up with what my wife told me. That has given me some peace. We discussed yesterday, and she's admitted that she has no more reason to keep deleting conversations, nor to have disappearing messages. There was a bit of deflection around her not knowing why the default timer turned on for 24H in new chats, saying that it happened by itself. She said she didn't know where to find the setting, doesn't want it on, etc., etc. I called BS as I have had WA for years, never really use it, and that feature never turned on for me. I asked her if she wanted me to do it for her. After a couple of minutes, she found the setting, and she turned it off in front of me. I told her that moving forward, as much as I don't want to, I will feel compelled to check her phone periodically. And if I see more deleted conversations, etc., that it will be a massive red flag for obvious reasons. That I can't heal or repair my trust for her if I feel like she is actively hiding things. I made her reconstruct the events I discovered in D-Day 3, and who and what she talked about to the two friends, in detail. It was painful for her and she hesitated at certain details, but she explained everything again and it lined up to all versions and info of the night that I have. I believe her. Today is day 2 of TrueR now that all of this is out in the open. I may still clone her WhatsApp as she uses that more than I message, but I think I am now on the road to healing, finally. Thank you to yourself and everyone who has contributed on this thread. While I agree with the requirement, I also believe that true successful long-term are can't work with a two-tier citizenship for one spouse versus the other, where one has full freedoms and the other doesn't. If they can't be trusted with any socials, then the couple is admitting that they are incapable of self-control. And I believe that true R requires the WS to demonstrate they are truly above it happening again. Happy to note we did discuss things, and she has removed the timers and has no reason to delete after D-Day 3. Fresh start. I agree with you. Yes, in the early days things need to be accommodating for the BS. We've talked it through and she's made all of the changes I asked for. I am hopeful things will work out. I will still be checking her phone, I am sure, for the next few months until I can satisfy the feeling that there is nothing more being hidden. I will be on the lookout for other shady activity certainly, and I believe I will try to clone her WhatsApp again, without her knowledge, just to get me through these next few months. In my heart today I believe she genuinely has nothing more to hide though, so I'm counting today as day 2 of True R. Let's see how it goes. Update. Even when things are going well, ever intentionally take yourself back to that low place, missing that pain? We're about 4 months into R and things are going well. No relapses on part of my WW. We're both very happy and genuine and all in. I can go almost a week without thinking about things, and when I do it's very fleeting. But sometimes, I find myself rabbit holing on the screenshots proof, and mentally traveling back to the affair period. Reliving the timeline when the affairs were happening. Reveling in her confident smugness when I didn't know. Part of me almost wishes for that version of her back. Like I said, things are going well and I'm feeling really positive about us and R, but from time to time I find myself almost longing for the pain or rush of emotions, vindication of D-Day. Maybe it's just me wishing I could have done D-Day differently. It's a kind of masochistic desire to put yourself back in that low place. I don't know if it's my trauma response trying to keep myself grounded that it was this person who did that to me, to keep up my defenses. Anyway, anyone else ever felt something like this?